Hello everyone and welcome to Go For It's Cookbox. My name is Richard, Go For It's cooking tutor, and today me and my glamour assistant Tilly are going to show you how to make tuna pasta bake. Before we get started, there's a few very important things that we need to do. The first thing being that we need to collect our ingredients, but before we do that, we need to prepare ourselves. So what's the first thing we need to do, Tilly? Wash our hands, perfect. Do you want to go and get the soap for us? Brilliant. And with our soap, we're going to do the 6 points of hand washing. So just as a reminder, we're going to put a little bit of soap on our hands like that, and then we're going to do those 6 points. The first point is to rub that soap in your hands just as so, then between your fingers, then on tops of your hands, then on the other hand, around your thumb, and the other thumb, around under your nails, and the other set of nails, and then around your wrists. Let's go and wash our hands. Okay, well done, Tilly. There we go. So now that we've washed our hands, what else, other things do we need to do? Put an apron on, and we've got our nice Go For It aprons on. And what do you need to do to that hair?
Pull it back.
Tie your hair back, and then obviously we need to remove any nail varnish or any sparkly diamond rings. Have you done that for us? Brilliant, excellent. Okay, so let's put that behind us. So now that we've prepared ourselves, we've got a nice clean area, we need to collect the ingredients and equipment ready for our cook box. So here's our cook box just here, and I'm going to worry about those ingredients in a moment because we've got our equipment just here. So the equipment that we need is a can opener. We've got our measuring jug. We've got a set of measuring spoons. We've got our glass bowl just there. We've got our fork. We've got our 2 knives that we're going to be using today. We've got that, what's that one? We've got our balloon whisk, and we've got some chopping boards as well. In our cookbox, and Tilly's going to open up our cookbox just here, and let's see what ingredients we have got to use today. So let's open it up, Tilly, and have a look. Oh, great. So, what's that one just there?
Flour.
We've got some flour. What are those ones?
Leeks.
They're not leeks. Not leeks, are they? What are they? Same families as leeks. Spring onions, excellent. Shebons in Welsh. And then we've got our cherry tomatoes. We've got the most important bit, which is our pasta. And let's move that off there. We'll pop all of those onto there. We've got our tuna ready for our tuna pasta bake. We've got some sweet corn.
Milk.
We've got some milk. And then we've got
Oil.
Vegetable stock. We've got some parsley, 2 bits of parsley, and some black pepper as well. And those are the ingredients that we're going to use in order to make our tuna pasta bake. Okay, well the first step to make our tuna pasta bake, Tilly, is to cook our pasta. So how are we going to cook our pasta? Put some water in the pan, and then we're going to pop it on the hob, get it nice and boiling, and then we're going to add our pasta. So let's go and fill this with water now then, shall we? Brilliant, Tilly. Well, now that we've got the pan of water there, we'll pop that onto the hob. We'll switch it on, and once that's boiling, we're then ready to add the pasta to the pan. And it's really important when we're adding the pasta to the pot boiling water that we are really careful. Why is that, Tilly?
In case you might burn yourself.
Excellent. We don't want you burning yourselves at home. So please make sure that as an adult is there ready to help you to add the pasta when it's all sorted. So we're going to add the pasta to the hot water. So in terms of safety, the best way to do it is rather than tipping in from the packet is to pour it into a bowl first. So do you want to empty the pasta into the bowl? And then we can start to add that to the water in a couple of moments. Brilliant, Tilly. Well, the next thing to do is to add pasta to the hot water. All I'm going to do, I suggest that an adult helps you with this, is carefully going to put pasta into the pan, give it a little mix, and we're going to cook that for about 8 minutes, or 8 to 10 minutes, until it's nicely soft, or what they call in Italy al dente, which means to the bite, and then we'll start to drain it off and we can crack on with making our tuna pasta bake. Right then, Tilly, our pasta is now cooked, so what we're going to do is we're going to take this really carefully over to the sink and we're going to drain it off. There's our pasta, Tilly, and thank you for the colander. Let's pop the colander into there and we'll carefully drain our pasta out into the colander, being super careful not to burn ourselves on the hot water. Give that a little shake and we'll pop that onto there, ready to use later once we've prepared all those other ingredients. Okay? So now that our pasta is nicely cooked, we're just going to leave that on the side of the hob and we'll come back to using that later. So the next thing, Tilly, is we're going to prepare our vegetables. So do you want to go and get our chopping boards and vegetables? Brilliant, Tilly. Thank you very much for our chopping boards. Let's pop those just there. So the first thing we're going to prepare is our, what are these, Tilly?
Tomatoes.
Our cherry tomatoes. So we've got about 8 cherry tomatoes there to prepare. So we're going to prepare those first, and then we're going to prepare our spring onions. And we're going to be using these sharp knives here. Please, please, please be careful when you're using and preparing the sharp knives. There's a couple of rules that we need to follow. The first rule, Tilly, is which part of the knife are we going to hold? The handle, the black handle just here. And if you have a look at the knife, you've got that zigzag edge, haven't we? And because it's that zigzag edge, are we chopping or are we sawing?
Sawing.
We're sawing. So always make sure that you're sawing. And if you've got a chopping board with a handle on, it's always nice and safe to pop your knife into your handle like that. So we're going to prepare our cherry tomato. And the first thing we need to do, Tilly, is think about safety, isn't it, with our cherry tomato. So are we going to put the dot up or the dot down? Dot down so it doesn't wobble. So if you want to do yours as well, then you get your knife and we're going to cut this in half. So we're going to make our hand into what we call the bridge, a punt in Welsh. So your knife goes to the middle of the bridge like that, pinky goes up, and you're just going to saw it in half, just like that, just as we're showing you. Pop that into your handle then, and you've obviously cut it in half, flat side down, and we're going to cut those in half once again. So we've got our quarters, and we're tidy chefs, so all of those bits go up just like that. And we're going to carry on preparing these until we've prepared all of our cherry tomatoes. Okay, so now that we've prepared our cherry tomatoes, Tilly, the next thing we're going to prepare is our spring onion. Excellent. The same family as a leek, isn't it? But it's like a leek second cousin. So what we're going to do is this time, rather than doing the bridge, this time we're going to make this hand, Tilly, which was called a claw. And this is what all the top chefs use for slicing. So when you're making your claw, it's hand out flat, fingers close together, thumb goes underneath, and then curve your fingers over like that. And you just thumb the back, fingernails pointing straight down. And just as Tilly's showing you, we're going to slice off the root of our spring onion just like that. We're going to pop the root just into our little waste bowl, and then we're going to remove the outside layer of our spring onion, just as so we get a nice clean surface. Just like that. Then once you've done that, we're going to slice all the way up until we get to about that part of the spring onion just there. Because fruits and vegetables have got what in them that's really good for us, Tilly?
Vitamin D.
Vitamin C, excellent. Okay, so we've got vitamin C and lots of nutrients in there, and a lot of them are held up in the green part just there. So, you all sorted? Yeah, brilliant. So we'll start from the white end, and we're going to make nice thin pieces just like that until, slowly moving your hand up until we get all the way to the top of the green part. And you carry on cutting until you get all the way. If any bits get in the way, remember we're tidy chefs, so we'll just move those bits up like that. And you keep on going, fingers as a claw, until you get all the way to the top, just like that. The knife goes into there, and then we're a tidy chef. All those bits have go up there, Tilly. It's brilliant. And your waste bits just go into there just as so. Okay, so we've got another couple of spring onions to do, Tilly. So let's get cracking with those ones as well. So we're just... Now that we've prepared our ingredients, Tilly, that's all the cutting that we're going to do today. So we're going to move on to making our white sauce in a moment. So the first thing that we're going to do is pop all of our spring onions and tomatoes onto there, and we're going to use those later. And we'll just clean up the rest of our area as well. So there we are. Shall I give you a hand? There we are. Tomatoes onto there as well. Brilliant. So we'll leave those just over there. Pop your knife onto the white tray, and we'll pile up the chopping boards, and you can take those away for washing up for afterwards then. There we are. And we'll pop those just over there, ready to use afterwards. Now we're ready to make the white sauce today. So can you go and get the ingredients for us, and we'll see how we're going to actually make it. Brilliant. So to make our white sauce, we've got some milk, and that's going to be the basis of a white sauce, and we're going to do what we call the all-in-one method of white sauce making. And the first job, Tilly, is that we need to measure 300 millilitres of our milk into our jug to start with. So if you open up your milk just there, and we'll take that little bit out just as so, and we're just going to measure in the measuring jug just there up until we get to that 300 millilitre marker, just like that. And I'll get down to the level just to check we've got the right amount. There we go, brilliant. So we've got a little bit of milk left. We can have that for a cup of tea afterwards, can't we? There we go. So we'll leave that one just there. And can you pour the milk just into there for me now? Brilliant. The next thing that we're going to add, Tilly, is this ingredient, which is our flour. We've got 25 grams of plain flour just there. So if you open that up and pour that in, and this is a really good way of making a sauce, because you pop everything into the pan and you just keep on whisking until you've made your sauce. Pop that one in. And to add a little bit of oil, we're going to add all of that oil into there just as so. So open your olive oil, and that's again 1 tablespoon of olive oil that has already been measured out for us into this little pot. So pop that one in just as so, and pour all that in. And then to add some flavour, the next thing that we're going to add is a little bit of vegetable stock, and that's half a teaspoon of vegetable stock just in there. Quite fiddly, isn't it? There we are. Let's open that one up just as so. There we are. So open that one up and pour that in for us. And that's going to add lots of flavour as well as a little bit of salt, but we don't want to eat too much salt in our diet, so we're only adding that very, very small amount of vegetable stock just there. And that one's nicely added. There we are. Brilliant. And we've got our parsley. And I will add the black pepper as well. And just 1 sachet of your black pepper. Now that we've measured our ingredients for our white sauce, Tilly, let's get on and make it, shall we? Pop this onto the hob, and if you come and stand just here, we'll collect our whisk, and all that you're going to do is hold on to the side of the pan just there, and you're going to continue to whisk that until it starts to thicken. And that should take about 4 to 5 minutes, and once it's started to boil, we're then going to reduce the heat. Starting to bubble. So once it starts to bubble, we're then going to reduce the heat down just for a minute or so, just to cook out the flavour of the flour in the white sauce. So keep on whisking really gently now, and we're nearly ready to make our tuna pasta bake and put all those ingredients together. So now that we've made our white sauce, and before we make our tuna pasta bake, we need to preheat our oven to 200 degrees centigrade. So let's turn our oven on, and let's now go and collect all of the ingredients ready to make the pasta bake, is it? So can you go and get me the canned tuna and the sweet corn and also the can opener for me? Brilliant. So we've got our canned sweet corn just there, and the all-important tuna just there. And we're going to open these up, and we're going to drain those off, ready to use afterwards. You will need to have an adult to help you with this. Why do you think that's important, Tilly?
In case you might, because this is metal and you might catch a finger.
Excellent, in case you catch your fingers or cut yourself on there. So this is a ring pull one, so we're very carefully going to open that one up just like that, and we're going to pull that bit off just as so, and that should come off. And the next one that we're going to do, if we pull that one open just there, and if I help you to pop that on just there, Tilly, and then you can twist it round. So if we let go just 1 sec, just turn that round, and then you can help to twist that round just as so. It's quite difficult, isn't it? Shall I give you a hand there? There we go, we'll turn it that way, turning it clockwise all the way round, just as so. And before you pop these into your white sauce, we will need to drain them. So we're going to go over to the sink in a moment, and we're going to drain those off into the sink just to get rid of the liquid that's actually in the cans. Okay, well Tilly, if I drain the tuna in spring water just into there, and we'll give that a quick shake just like that, ready to add to our sauce in a moment, and then you can add the sweet corn straight into our sieve as well. Give the bottom a tap, make sure we're not wasting any of those ingredients. There we go, brilliant. We'll pop that one just there, and that's ready to go into our white sauce. So now that we've drained our canned ingredients, we can start to make our pasta, tuna pasta bake. So if you want to pop all of those bits into there, and it's a really good recipe now, you just pop everything in and we give it a really good mix. We'll pop that just over there. So we've got the spring onions and the cherry tomatoes that we prepared earlier also. Move that over there, pop all of those in for us. Excellent. And the last thing that we've got is we've got our pasta as well. So all I'm going to do, you might find that the pasta's stuck together, but it's not a problem because it'll all fall apart when it goes into the bowl later. And we give that a really good mix now, Tilly, all the way to the bottom. So mixing all the way to the bottom so that we coat all of the lovely pasta with all those vegetables and all of the tuna and all of the sauce as well. Shall I give you a hand there? So you're mixing it all the way to the bottom, just like that. Doesn't that look tasty? And we're going to bake that in the oven in a couple of moments. So now that we've given that a really good mix, we're ready to pop it into our dish, just as so. So if, I tell you what, if I hold the pan, you can start to spoon that mixture into there for us, Tilly. Doesn't that look tasty? You've got all those lovely little bits of colour in there as well. Marvellous. There we are. So, great. And then we're just going to spread that down with the back of your spoon, just like that, so that it's a nice even sort of size. Spread it all the way over. Spread some of it down there as well. Make sure it's all nice and even. Just like that. Brilliant. If you take that piece of tomato off just there, scrape all that off because we're not going to waste any of that. And then that can go onto our baking tray. And we'll be ready to pop that into the oven. If you had some cheese at home, another really good idea to put on would be 25 grams of grated reduced fat cheese. And would happen to that cheese when it goes in the oven? It would all melt and go golden brown. But this is going to be super tasty anyway. When it comes out of the oven, it's going to be nice and golden brown and absolutely delicious. So, we're ready to pop this into our preheated oven now, Tilly. So I'm going to very carefully open this up and pop this into the top shelf of our oven just there. And we're going to cook that in the oven, Tilly, for about 20 minutes, as I said earlier, until it's nice and golden brown and really piping hot. Please make sure when you're at home that an adult does this process for you, because we don't want to burn ourselves, do we, Tilly? Brilliant. Okay, Tilly, well, I think we're now 20 minutes and our pasta bake is ready to actually come out of the oven. So let's have a look. Oh, look at that. Doesn't that look fantastic? And you can see that it's cooked because it's still bubbling around slightly around the edges, nice and golden brown, and it smells absolutely delicious, doesn't it, Tilly? Should we have a try? There we go. So let's open this out, hold on to there, and this amount will actually feed a family of 4, 2 adults, 2 children, and it's really, really nutritious and absolutely delicious. We'll just pop that onto there. And do you think that's a portion for a child? You could eat all that, couldn't you, Tilly? There we go. Doesn't that look fantastic? Look at that lovely steam and things like that. Okay, well, here's our final dish, and doesn't it look really tasty? Fantastic. We hope that you're going to enjoy making this recipe at home and really enjoy having it and sharing it with your family as well. Just remember that if tuna is not your favourite thing when you come to make it again in the future, you could use lots of other different sort of meats or something like that, such as low-fat sausages, such as chicken, such as some sliced ham or something like that. Before we go though, I'm just going to introduce you to Rona, who is Go For It's dietitian, who's just going to tell you a little bit about the nutritional content of this dish.
Hi Richard, hi Tilly. Wow, look at this. This looks amazing. You were such a big help.
Yes, she was a really great help. Tell us a little bit about the content, Rona.
Well, this is fantastic because it's low in fat, it's got lots of energy in there, lots of good nutrition, and it counts as one of your 5 a day in terms of your fruit and vegetables. So it's all round a really healthy and tasty meal for the whole family. So we're going to have a try now, aren't we?
I'll get some forks, shall I?
Excellent.
Brilliant. Well, here they are. So there's a fork for you, Tilly. It's a fork for you, Rona.
Thank you.
And let's take a good mouthful. There we go. Really tasty, isn't it, Tilly?
Yeah.